Online addictions. Every year, online games become more and more advanced. They have captivated the young and old alike with an amazing realism, and their audiences continue to grow. Some people have become completely consumed and even addicted to the fantastic worlds that have been created. They allow people to escape, to become something they are not, but it is important to remember that they are only games. Spending too much time playing computer games can lead to social disorders and self-esteem issues. People that play these games too much can become reclusive, preferring to interact with people online, and may even try to avoid social situations. The end result is people that are not very well adapted to living in the real world. Think about that as you read the following story. Only the flicker of the monitor lit Mike's room at this dark hour. He should have been sleeping, as his mother had instructed him earlier. But how could he? He sat almost lifeless. His nodding head felt heavy on his shoulders, but he fought it off. He must remain awake. His eyelids too felt heavy, though his eyes stayed fixed on the room ahead, waiting. It had been over 4 hours now that he had patiently awaited what would come, and when it did, he would be ready. The clock ticked towards morning, but rest would not come this night. How could it? Some things are more important than sleep, he thought. In the room below Mike's, his mother stirred. She knew her son wasn't sleeping. He never was. His father was also concerned, but at this time of the night only his loud snoring could be heard, adding to his wife's uneasiness. She would have to confront this problem of Mike's again before it was too late. Then a loud crash on the floor above jolted her up in bed. What is he doing now? She wondered. She stood up and put her nightgown on, and then made her way to the stairs. Mike, half startled, jumped up from his chair, knocking over a stack of CDs onto the floor. He was wide awake now, still fixed on that room inside the monitor, and he no longer stood there alone. Beside him, surrounded by a dark cloud, was a vile creature, a creature of horror, a creature that Mike had hunted for 2 days, and now it was before him. Mike, a high-ranking samurai, drew his sword and stepped back, eyeing his evil foe, deciding whether to strike or allow his rival the honor. In an instant he decided, lunging forward, leading with his razor-sharp sword. The shadow creature scoffed at the attack. It seemed to consume all the light within the room, and it grew and grew until it towered over the bewildered samurai. The ghostly visage now rose straight up, holding its hands in the air, calling forth the powers of darkness. Black magic grew in its hands, and it eyed young Mike with a hunger. Then it spoke. "Prepare to become darkness," it said in a low, almost merciful voice. The black magic flowed from its fingertips and surrounded Mike. He could feel his life force draining. Then, without notice, the monitor went black. Mike quickly turned. In all the excitement, he had not heard his mother come in. While his soul was being devoured online, she had reached over his shoulder and shut off the monitor. "What are you doing?" Mike snapped. "Something I should have done long ago," she scolded, and proceeded to dismantle his computer. "But I need it for my homework," he protested. "Homework?" she laughed. "You haven't done your homework for months." "I will start tomorrow," he pleaded. "That you will," she agreed, "with some paper and a pen. Your computer privileges are now revoked. No more games, no more chat rooms, no more online anything for you, mister, and that's final." With that, she turned and walked out of the room with his PC tower in hand. Mike didn't know what to think. "It's not like I'm out hanging on the streets in some gang," he thought. I'm just playing games." He felt his mother's decision was unfair and a bit rash. "What am I going to do now?" he wondered. "I don't have any real friends." Mike slipped into his bed. It was now 4 a.m., and he wasn't going to get much sleep. As he drifted off, he still saw the dark villain in his head. "I know I could have beaten him. I just know it," he thought. Then he fell asleep. The monitor no longer flickered, and the hum of the PC was no more. The dark hour of the night settled in around him, and stars danced outside the window. At this hour, the moon and the stars were the only light, as it should be. These lights have been here for millennia, and will continue for another, guiding the adventurous through the night of the real world. Vocabulary: advanced, advanced. Captivate, captivate. Realism, realism. Completely, completely. Consumed, consumed. Addicted, addicted. Escape, escape. Disorder, disorder. Self-esteem, self-esteem. Issue, issue. Reclusive, reclusive. Interact, interact. Adapted, adapted. Flicker, flicker. Instruct, instruct. Uneasiness, uneasiness. Confront, confront. Crash, crash. Jolt, jolt. Startled, startled. Surround, surround. Vile, vile. Samurai, samurai. Lunge, lunge. Scoff, scoff. Consume, consume. Tower, tower. Bewildered, bewildered. Visage, visage. Merciful, merciful. Drain, drain. Devour, devour. Snap, snap. Proceed, proceed. Dismantle, dismantle. Protest, protest. Plead, plead. Privilege, privilege. Revoke, revoke. PC tower, PC tower. Rash, rash. Drift, drift. Villain, villain. Millennium, millennium. Adventurous, adventurous.